Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me on this Wednesday, March 16th in the Locker Room. I'm Alan Locher. Daytime fans know Emmy Award-winning actor Jeff Branson for his roles as Jonathan Lavery on All My Children, as Shayne Lewis on Guiding Light, and as Ronan Malloy on The Young and the Restless. In addition to his daytime roles, Jeff has appeared in the primetime series CSI, NCIS Los Angeles, The Mentalist, Law and Order SVU, and Supernatural. He also appeared in the first season of Supergirl as the character Master Jailer and appears as the legendary astronaut Neil Armstrong in the Apple TV Plus series For All Mankind. He's in New Mexico right now filming some new projects, which he'll tell us about. Please welcome to the Locker Room, my friend, Jeff Branson. Hello, buddy.
Hey, everybody. Hey, how are you, man?
It's good to see you.
Always good to see you. Always
you
good.
Too. 13 years ago today, we were actually in Orlando. You, Gina, and I were watching Carla Mosley sing the national anthem at the baseball game.
Oh my goodness, is that 13 years ago?
Yeah,
That was a really cool trip. That was a special trip. I had a really great time.
That was a fun time, and
That was
to have access to Universal Studios. It ain't a bad way to live.
No, not at all. I can't believe how many resources they had down there. It was incredible. The stuff that they're doing. I did not realize it was. I just remember walking away from that blown away. And we had such a great time, such a great audience.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So tell us, what are you shooting in New Mexico?
I'm doing a thriller for Tubi, Fox's streaming platform, and I'm on my phone. I just broke for lunch actually, so if I'm shaking around a little bit, everybody, I'm sorry. I'm on my phone. So we're shooting a thriller out in New Mexico, and it's fun. It moves fast. It's interesting, these platforms and this new media, because they move quick. They don't have as much money as traditional Hollywood films, so you move really fast, and I like that. It's like going back to daytime. It's you do your stuff very instinctually. You do it very quickly. You get lots of footage really fast. There's no sitting around. There's no 6 hours in the trailer. So I'm enjoying it.
That's great. Is one of them out already that you did for them, you said, or coming out soon?
It's coming out soon. Teardrop is the title.
Teardrop.
It's yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be on
everybody
Tubi exclusively.
Yeah. Keep an eye out for Teardrop on Tubi. So your son Van turns 8 any day now, right?
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. We were just talking about birthday plans and all of that. Yeah. He's April 2nd. Yeah.
How has fatherhood changed your life?
It has saved my life. Saved my life. I mean, I just think that there's a lot of opportunity to live inside of yourself these days. To make yourself, to just to be more narcissistic, I guess, and just to serve yourself all day long. And I was a big victim of it. And as soon as I had my kiddo, anybody that has a kid, they know life changes immediately. It's a totally different world. The next morning, and it was the world that I needed to be in. It got me out of my own head. It got me out of my way. It changed my to-do list. My morning, your errands list. That was filled with shit of oh, go get that shirt, or go buy that. This is back in the day. Go buy that CD, or do what blah 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 blah. And I realized I was doing a bunch of unimportant shit all the time.
Yeah.
And now I do a bunch of important shit. So I guess that's what's changed the most.
That's great. Did you just all go to a concert? I saw a picture.
Oh shit! Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. Man, I'm not even on social media now. I can't do anything.
You can't escape. I follow your beautiful Jamie. How's she doing?
She loves you to death. She says hello. She loved. They're on their way out here right now. Coming this way.
Oh, that's awesome.
They love you. She loves you to death, and you would love him to death. She's great. Bet. She's kicking so much ass in LA. The Powder Room is the salons that we own and operate. Jamie's the head stylist, and she's just so great with people. So makes everybody leave looking gorgeous, and she's the best. She really is. But yeah, they're heading out here right now. Yeah.
Any inkling that he might follow in your footsteps?
Yes, 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 yes. Sadly, he might just do that.
Oh
I'm
wow.
actually trying to push him away from it because it's just a. Hey, listen, there's a lot of good in it, but there's a lot of uncertainty, and there's a lot of. I'm very fortunate. I've landed on my feet a lot. I live under a lucky
Mhm.
cloud. Um, if I know a lot of guys, people that weren't as lucky, right? So if he wants to really go for it, he's a storyteller. He's a born storyteller. I think that's my biggest thing about acting too. Is I love being a storyteller. I love I love that act. That act of
Mhm.
sharing the stories around the fire kind of thing. When I know that's a little dated, but and he has that. He has that knack, and he shot a short film with me. Um, we're
I
not
love
releasing
it.
the footage. Yeah, he did. We're not going to release it because it was a little racy and I was a little uncomfortable during it. So it was a friend, and we actually he had a very ambitious shot list for the day, and I started going over the shot list. I'm like, yeah, that's not cool. That's not cool. That's not cool. And the dad in me kicked in, and so we couldn't do half the shoot, right? Because I wouldn't do it. So my buddy was bummed, and Van was down. My son was down. He was ready for all of it. He was ready for anything. And but this guy that was shooting it doesn't have kids, and sometimes people that don't have kids think kids are props, or
Mhm.
so anyway, it was. But my son loved it. He wants to keep doing it. He goes around. He wants to make videos of himself opening every toy and explaining it, like YouTube. He wants to do YouTube videos.
Yeah.
That's what he wants to do. Yeah. So my
There's
commercial
money to
agent
be
wants
made
it.
for them, if he
I
does it
know,
right.
right?
If
College
he
is
does it,
expensive.
yeah.
you
If he
know?
does it right, and that's his niche, product reviews, or explaining how to put stuff together. I mean, kids can do things
He's
so much quicker than you and I at this point.
There are things that are intuitive to him that I will never understand. You
Yeah.
know, but curiously, you know, I and it was not the show where you and I met. Um, one of the shows I've worked on in the past has such a bad way of dealing with children. I felt like, and
Mm.
watching how the stage, um, the kids were dealt with, and how the moms were dealt with, and how the moms were allowed to hold themselves, and just how the whole thing went down. And I don't want that for my son. I don't want that for my son on any set. So I'm a little protective.
Well,
So
that and,
if
and that's
you
being
know,
smart. You would
yeah,
hope
I've
every parent is the same way.
yeah, I've actually been there. I've been there. I've been on set with playing the dad that had to work with the twins, and
Yeah.
and you know there's a lot of expectations put on children. It's my God. If you have children, to get them to have a day where they do what you want is just amazing. Now you're asking them to do what you want every take. So
Yeah.
it's a lot. It's a lot.
And in a period of time, so it doesn't cost
Yeah,
extra money.
yeah, and I don't care. Exactly, right, right. Time is money. I don't care what
Time is
any
money.
AD. I don't care a darn what any AD says. They'll pressure children into shooting. They will be on set and be like, "Okay, well, we have to go. We have to go. We have to go. We have to get." And the kids aren't responding. I just had a vision of my son doing that, and it made me very sad. So I don't want that for him. Not yet.
One of your fans says, "So great to see Jeff. I miss him so much on screen. Sending love from Stockholm, Sweden."
Who is it? Is it
Uh,
Camilla?
I don't know, because she or has a different name. It's Undeniable Production is the uh,
Well,
screen name.
Well, I'm not sure. I shouldn't be dropping names. I have a few fans that are friends, but thank you. It is
I love
nice to
that,
be
but
seen again.
Stockholm, Sweden.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't remember that you
That's
and
awesome.
Gina grew up in St. Louis.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Gina
Yeah,
and I hit it off right away. We had a lot. We had a similar way of working, and the stakes were high. It was like a big couple right away, right? It was like a
yeah.
big return of a big character, and I'm sure but yeah, Gina and I hit it off right away, and yeah, we're both out of St. Louis.
What was
So,
your childhood like there?
ooh, how long do we have? I don't know if Wow. It was rough. It was rough. It wasn't great. It was formative. Again, I'm sorry if the camera's moving all around, guys. My apologies. I hate watching that myself. You know, it was my parents had their own things, and it didn't work out. And St. Louis was really economically depressed during that time, and we were in the lower end of it. So it was rough. It was really rough. And then my mom realized that this is really rough, and this is, you know, this isn't how I want my kid to be raised. So she moved me to the Ozarks, which was 3 hours outside of it. Wow. So I actually finished high school in the Ozarks.
Oh, cool.
Actually, the Ozarks, the actual town, or the actual show Ozark, is based on my town where I grew up.
Amazing. I'd love to go see it.
It
was Camilla. It was Camilla. She said it was her.
I have so many great fans, and so many. I'm probably disappointing to some people because I'm not good on social. I'm not at all on social media, and I'd apologize for that. But I'm not exactly sorry. But I don't like the distance between me and the fans. I just think that social media is just not for me. That's all. But that being said,
and you have someone else to take care of too. Like you said, you know, that's.
I do. This has been the role of a lifetime with this kiddo, without a doubt. It's been the role of a lifetime. It's made me want to. Honestly, I'll be forthcoming about it. We had a role right away. My wife's very successful. I'm very blessed, and we had a role right away that I was traveling a lot at the time, and that I didn't want to know my kid from an iPhone. You know, I didn't want to know I didn't want a nanny raising my kid. Nothing against nannies, nothing at all. I just, you know, he's my only one, and I'm not a spring chicken. So I just, I felt like this shit happened so fast, you know.
Well, and it, you know,
and I don't want to miss
having
a minute,
them,
you know.
Yeah, having them at a certain age too does make it a different ballpark than if you were 21, 20, you know, 20 in your 20s. It definitely, you know.
Yeah. I sowed all of my wild oats. So I did it. You know, I really did it. I had nothing. By the time that Van came into my life, I had nothing to hold me back from wanting to be 100% with him. You know what I mean? There was no resentment, no regret, no, oh shits, oh, we shouldn't be doing this. Am I ready? I was, you know, I'm lucky. I'm lucky to have that feeling.
And he's lucky. He's definitely lucky.
He better say that.
So who or what influenced you on becoming an actor?
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, all right. I would have stretched before this. All right. That's a great question. All right. So I was playing football, and I was playing football in high school, and I got my knee cracked up. And the coach's wife was a drama teacher, and she inspired me. I went in there. They had me on, sadly to say now, they had me on opioids for my knee, and I was a disaster. I was taking these. They prescribed them before school, and I would. It's the only time in my life I've ever taken them, but I would take them, and I would literally drool, like, you know, that pure, silky saliva. Like I would be in a puddle on the desk every day, and then they came and said, "Hey, you know, the coach wants you to sleep it off in the wife's drama class." And I was like, "What?" We went to the drama class. They had rehearsal studios in the back, you know, like little 4x4 rooms. I slept a couple of days. I did sleep it off, so to say, for a couple of days. And then there was a guy that I was really good friends with in high school, Jabe Hancock. And I watched him through the window on stage. And him and that class and those people and that teacher inspired me. I had no inkling of doing it before that.
Do you remember the teacher's name?
Yeah, Becky Vogt. At the time it was Vogt. Now it's Huntsman. I should correct myself. Becky Huntsman. And she's, awesome. I hope she's still teaching.
And inspiring.
Yeah, well, I was also a pain in the ass. I was rough around the edges. I was crass. I was and I mean this with all love. I was a trailer park kid, you know. Okay. I was, and I mean that with love. I really do. But there was different things going on in my neighborhood than other people's neighborhoods, and I was rough around the edges, and she kind of was my first person in my life to give me a little bit of class, a little bit of decorum, a little bit of demeanor, a little bit of being more responsible for myself. She gave me a huge license in there so I could get by with murder, but still get corrected for it. And it was I don't know if I ever thanked her properly for, putting me in the right direction, but she's a lovely woman.
And I love hearing that, and sharing their names, because when they have such a large impact, it's just,
I homeschooled Van during the pandemic, and oh shit, I daydreamed about my teachers growing up. every one of them. It was wild. I had the hardcore cursive language arts teacher that would slap your hand with a ruler. And I didn't go to a Catholic school, she would still get by with it. She had an 18-inch, it was a weird shaped ruler. Probably wasn't even a ruler. It was probably just a piece of plank, and she would swatch your knuckles if you did not nail your handwriting. And I thought about all these people, and then I thought about her, and I was like, holy shit, she was such a big figure in my life. And what these teachers don't do for all of us, right? What they do for all of us. It just takes one teacher to inspire us. And I knew that teachers were there for the inspiration, but then the academic work that you have to do and everything they did in between, it took me down memory lane. The pandemic did.
And you must have had a new appreciation as well.
Oh, it's enormous.
Having to do it yourself, yeah.
Oh, it's enormous. Crazy. I'm trying to, at my son's school, I'm trying to start getting together fundraisers, and because no one's making enough money. Teachers are not making enough money. It's a crime. It's a sin how we're treating
it. Is. Yeah. For the impact you're talking about that they have on children's lives, the lack of money they make is really just something.
What they go through for that money, I dealt with my son, my one son, in the comfort of my own home for 1 year, teaching him, and I had terrible thoughts. I was looking at my son like I was, I was like, say it again. I was in my head. I had these terrible monologues going on in my head. I can't imagine what these people go through on a daily basis, and how thick your skin has to be, and how you have to decompress after that kind of a day. It's incredible. And my son's teacher right now, Miss Sepulveda, she's absolutely an angel. She's given my son the confidence he needs. Kids need a win. Everyone does. We all need a win every now and then, especially right now, I think. But every now
after
and then,
after the last 2 years, yeah.
Oh shit, man! Come on. Yeah. I mean, really. And we all need a win, and my kid needed a win, right? And she took him in, saw where something was missing, where something needed to be focused on, and she gave him a win. And I just, it just changed him. So yeah, a teacher can change your life. Absolutely. They should be treated. They should be appreciated and compensated for it, is my feelings.
Yeah. Candace says, thank you, Jeff, for saying that, because it's a sin. But we teachers, well, I speak for myself, love the kids and being an important figure in their lives. And Candace is a big Guiding Light fan, and
the only way that's possible is with love.
Probably a great teacher. Great teacher.
I would think so. I mean, I think that's the way that you do get through it, is with love, right? It's love. It's having such a big heart that you can share it with that many people and still go home and give it to your family as well. So it's incredible. It's a quality that not everyone has. Very few people have, actually.
Correct. 100%. Talk about moving to the Big Apple to follow your dreams. What was it like arriving in New York City?
Man, I was from a small town in Missouri. It was bananas. We pulled up in a U-Haul truck, and I actually got accepted to a conservancy with my high school girlfriend at the time. And we came up here together. We came to New York together. Her father drove us. We were in a U-Haul truck with all of our stuff, moving into separate dormitory situation, like separate housing situations. And we got to New York a day early, right? So we had to stay, no shit. Where were we? We were on 86 and Broadway. We stayed on 86 and Broadway in a U-Haul truck, slept in the back of it, closed it down and locked it up overnight. That was my first night in New York City. Woke up in the morning, the truck was getting picked up by a tow truck. It was getting lifted up, and that's what woke us up, because you're not allowed to park commercial trucks on city streets overnight. So we had been ticketed about 20 times. We didn't obviously know it because we were all sleeping. And we woke up to the truck getting picked up. We sorted it out. We didn't get towed or anything, but we started with about $1,000 in tickets. So yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that was my trip up to the Big Apple.
That's not a win.
That's not a win. That's not a win. On day 2, though, I saw Rent with the original cast. And we sat in the first row with student tickets with the original cast literally spitting on you. I mean, from singing. And it just gave me chills saying that right now, because it was that powerful, right? It was that powerful. That was my day 2, and that washed away anything. I was like, I'm doing this.
Oh, I can imagine that.
I want to feel like those people feel right now. I was watching them sing, and Daphne Rubin Vega singing "Will You Light My Candle." I was crying. I'd never cried I was 18. I'd never cried at a show or a movie or and I was crying. I didn't even know why. I was crying, like the faucet was open. And
you were feeling every emotion that they were singing, if you were in the front, because that show and those lyrics, and I can't even imagine seeing that in the front row.
It was powerful. And I just remember thinking, my God, people can do that. I'd never seen a show like that before. And I was thinking to myself the whole time, like, I actually left feeling a little deflated, because I was like, do I have that in me? Do I have that kind of power? Like, can I live up to that? Is that something inside of me? And the truth is, no, it's not, because I can't do musical theater. So no, it's not inside of me. But the acting portion is. And that was inspiring. I'd never seen anything on that scale before.
I can imagine. What was your first big break?
Wow. I would have been more prepared. No, it was, fuck, what was it? It was, oh, sorry, excuse my language.
That's
pardon me. We're in the locker room, right?
Yeah, you can.
It's okay, right?
It's okay.
It was, define break. What really got me on the maps, on the books, was Shaft with Sam Jackson. I played Christian Bale's friend in the first reboot of Shaft in 99 or 98. And that didn't break me out or anything, but that did give me my SAG card, which was huge. There was a whole bunch of drama on that set. And it was great, because I got to sit there next to Christian Bale and take a master class basically for a month and watch his technique, which was fascinating. And that got me into SAG. And then after that, the door opened to more stuff, right? More opportunities. And then the thing that got me out the most was probably All My Children. And that's what got me into everybody's sightline the most. That was playing Jonathan Lavery on All My Children.
What do you remember about the audition and screen test for Jonathan?
I remember wearing a lot of hair product. Remember the smelling of a lot of perfume on set. It was what do I remember of the process?
And did you screen test with someone? Did you screen test?
Yeah, Dish Minshew. I love her. I love Alicia Minshew. She is an old friend, an absolute riot. One of the most hilarious, fun people ever, and she brings a lot of it to the work. People don't get a chance to see it because she was cast so seriously. I mean, anytime you're playing, Susan Lucci's daughter, there's not a lot of room for smiling. You know what I mean? It's going to be more it's going to be more serious stuff. You know what I mean? But Alicia, she came walking up to me she goes, you know, we knew each other from before that. And she comes in, again, everyone's gonna have to pardon my language, but she comes walking up, she's like, okay, you ready to do this, motherfucker, or what? We're gonna do it. We're getting you this job today. And I went, what? I was so scared. I'm sorry, I'm shaking the camera so much. I was so scared, you know, and I was going up, I was like rehearsing, going up on my lines. And she said, throw it everything away. You're just gonna do a scene with me. And she held my hands, and literally it felt so warm and comforting. And she improv with me, and we got back in the scene, and I fell out of the scene and in the scene, and we like really had a really rich chemistry. I wish we actually got to work together, but we never really got paired up on Children. And she got me the job, without a doubt. She got me the job because I was feeling so cold and tight. I was feeling tight, you know. And it's hard to do the work when you're feeling tight. So Alicia Minshew was the one that really broke me, like really made that screen test for me. And then Cameron Matheson saved my first day. I was up on my lines. I was the last scene of the day. We were 4 hours overtime already. Everybody was pissed. It was the middle of rush hour. Nobody wanted to go home. Everybody was upset. I have like a 2-page monologue when I come in looking for my brother, Ryan Lavery, and I kept going up on the lines. I kept losing the lines. And if anybody knows me, like that's one thing I'm solid on. I've got a great work ethic. And I could not knock this down. Finally, Cameron comes on set, says, everybody cool off, you know, stop talking shit. He's going to get this. Everything's fine. Everybody back off. And Cameron's a big guy. Back off. He's playing my little brother. And I was like, oh. I mean, I needed that moment. I really needed that moment to feel like I was part of it, because I felt so outside of it. I didn't feel like I was part of their team. I just felt like I was watching from the stands, and he made me part of it by saying that. And then I was terrible that day. It was so bad. I had to do 5 takes, and they probably had to fix it all in the edit. And I went down to my it was terrible. I stunk the place up. It was terrible. And I went down to my dressing room, and Alicia Minshew had been watching off in the dark, right? She'd been watching off in the darks. And I saw her one time. She wasn't condescending. She was like, oh shit, poor Jeff. You know, like this is a nightmare, and I feel for him. It's like she really felt for me. She went downstairs and wrote on my mirror in my dressing room, "Don't sweat it." And she wrote it in red lipstick. "Don't sweat it. There's always tomorrow."
Wow.
I was like, sat down and cried. I was like, wow.
That's really.
Yeah, it really, because it was. That's. You know, some shows have a reputation for not being very patient, not being very tolerant. They move very quickly. Mm-hmm. I thought for sure I was going to get fired. I thought that was it. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, I went up. I cost, you know, a scene that took 30 minutes, took me 2 hours. They're not going to have me back. I'm going to get my yellow slip when I walk to my dressing room. And instead I opened up my door and I saw that on my mirror. It was everything I needed. It was a nice way to break in.
And really sweet of her to do. Not everybody takes the time to do what she did.
No. Yeah. She's a very thoughtful person.
What do you think you learned working at All My Children that helped you throughout the rest of your continued career?
How to memorize, how to structurally memorize like an actor should. You know, not to get entertained by the story, but to pick up the pieces of the story so that you can tell the story, and not to get caught up in like any entertainment of the story. It's really not for our, how do I say it? On my end of it, it's not really for my entertainment, right? It's for me to mine out the facts and tell the story for other people to be hopefully be entertained by it. You know, that's I think the job of the actor. I don't know. I think that the more you read, like I'm a believer that you read the script like 100 times. You know what I mean? You literally read the script like 100 times. I learned this, and I'm not going to name drop. I learned this from a big actor on a Broadway play many years ago. And, you know, I was sitting there and I was reading my lines. I was doing line readings is what I was doing. I was very young. Okay. I was very young to excuse myself. And I was giving line readings to myself about how I assume I was thinking about how I thought the lines would be cool. Right. I wasn't thinking about the story or where this line fell into the story or how it affected the story. I was being entertained by my opportunity to portray somebody that I thought could be cool. And that's just not that's not your job. It's not your job, in my humble opinion. Your job is to be a miner, to get all the facts out of it, to dig it all out, and then to engage and tell that story, you know, piece that story together.
I've done a lot of shows in these 2 years, Jeff, and I've never heard it explained that way, and I just love it. Thank you. It's a great it's a great way.
I think it's a way to, you know, I appreciate you saying that. I just think it's also a way to keep from thinking you're too cool, because I think that's another trap in this game, is to, you know, what did they say? You become what you do. Are you doing anything 10,000 times? You're professional at it, right? Is that the saying? Like something? So if you play the cool guy 10,000 times, if you play the cop 10,000 times, you're probably walking around thinking you're a tough guy cop. If you play the cool guy, you probably think you're cool. In reality, we're just supposed to be transistors for the story, you know? I don't know. My 2 cents on it.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great 2 cents on it. In 2004, you played a young Alan Spaulding, which I did not remember. What do you remember about that first appearance in Springfield?
I remember Ron Raines. That's what I remember. I'm not doing it justice at all. I love you, Ron Raines. I love you.
Who doesn't?
Oh my God, that man. I
mean, the two of you have those voices. Strong
I think that's
voices.
what got me the job. I think that's what got me the job. And seriously, I was still working my shit out, so to say. And I think that the voice is what got me the job for sure. You would hear Ron warming up when we were out at the farmhouse in Jersey. You'd hear Ron in the bedrooms warming up just for a normal day of shooting, right? Like we're just like Ron. I mean, my God, everybody on that cast that had been there a long time, they would come out to that farmhouse every day, and they would still love telling those stories. I love them for that. Because it had to be hard. There was a lot of transition. It was very different. And there were moments, everybody had a moment, but there were a lot of beautiful moments, man. And Ron damn Raines doing operatic warm-ups for our scenes was just, I mean, to be honest, I was a voyeur. I would peep the door open a little bit and just watch him do his warm-ups. He was enthralling. Yeah.
Who did you work with when you
that
played
job? By the way, in 2004, that job was terrible. I hated that job. Oh my God, they dunked us in a water pool like 50 times, man.
What was it about? I don't remember.
It was the story of the guys and how they knew each other from when they were teenagers, when they were young, or was it teenagers or early 20s? And somebody died. Somebody died.
That's the whole Mara Marina and
yes. So
yes,
and then we drag everyone out of the water. Yeah, it's the whole story of how the dirt they have on each other and everything.
I remember now. Yeah,
we were having a great time. We were having a blast shooting it, and then came the water scenes. And man, my God, the water was ice cold, colder than the studio. You know, and it was like get in, get out, get in, get out. Yeah, the job lost its luster very quickly, but it was a blast. It was a blast.
That's funny, and you returned to Springfield, of course, to play the son of one of the most popular daytime couples, Josh and Reva. Yeah. What was that audition process like, and what, when you got the character description of Shayne, what did you like about him that made you, pursue this?
Damaged and not my father was served in Vietnam, and my father came back and he wasn't well received when he came back to the States, and I felt like Shayne was not well received when he came back. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I did not serve. I'm not assuming to be I want to be very clear. I have never served. I have nothing but love and respect for anybody that has. And it was tough playing somebody that has served when you haven't, because you don't want to play at something That's so serious. But I understood what I could grasp onto was his feeling of being on the outside, of not being brought back in, of being misunderstood and lost. Coming back and you've lost everything. Your legs. You lost your legs. You lost your connection with your gal. You lost ground with your family. There's another brother back. You know, everything was different. That's what I came into it playing. And the audition's good.
Did you have to audition with someone for this?
Yes, I did. Rob DeCina, who is an old friend, was heading casting at the time. And he called me and said, hey, I'd like to put you on a short list for this. And it was Colin Egglesfield. Egglesfield and I screen tested, I think, against one another. I believe. I know Colin was there. I don't know if it was just the two of us.
That sounds familiar to me. Like I remember seeing pictures. Yeah,
no, it was the two of us. I know that. I didn't see anybody else. But I felt it. You know what I mean? I was more in my rhythm by then, you know. All my children gave me 3 or 4 years of repetition, of doing it every day, over and over. And you just you stop sweating the small shit. You know what I mean? You stop worrying about shit like, oh, hey, is my shirt tucked in? How's my hair? It's usually vain shit, to be honest. And you start worrying about the story. You get into the elements of the story. Your characters had more time to be on the canvas. You have more relationships with more people. You know, your character does. So it's just richer. It just gets richer and richer.
Head writer Jill Laurie Hurst texted me while you were speaking, and I couldn't agree more with what she says, but she says, I can't believe the perfect Shayne came to us so late in the game.
Oh man.
You really were the perfect Shayne we had always been looking for at Guiding Light, and it is a shame it was so late in the game.
Thank you so much for saying that. Really,
and your mama Kim Zimmer just texted and said, I'm gonna say it again, Jeff and Jake Weary need to play brothers in a film.
Please, man, please. I think that Jake and I would get on like peas and carrots, man.
There is no doubt about that. There is no doubt about that.
My wife.
And she wants to know, where are you? Are you Santa Fe or Albuquerque?
Carlsbad.
Say it again.
Carlsbad. We're on location out in Carlsbad. We're not in the fun places. we're not in the fun place. We were in Albuquerque, and I think in a week. But right now we're in Carlsbad.
Great. So,
and if I have a weekend, Kim, if I get a day to myself, I have my bus here with me, Kim. If I get a day to myself, I'm going to come and see you. I've got your number.
Is this your own bus? You have your own bus? Or is it they provide?
Bus. I shouldn't call it a bus. It's a VW van again, right? It's like a micro bus.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. No, it's I take it to set with me because just because I'm more comfortable in it, you know. I have a bed in it and everything. I'm more comfortable in it. I have all of my equipment and my stuff in it. So just
hey, at this point in the game, being comfortable and matters.
You know, I reread lately on it was actually not lately, it was a few years ago. I reread On the Road, Kerouac, and then I was like, why am I flying everywhere? Why am I I fly everywhere, and I do, and I have my whole professional life especially, but like why I miss it's never really about the destination, it's the journey, right? And like I'm skipping the journey, so I try to take the journey in when I'm going to set.
So like I said, Kim and Robert played mom and pops. Talk about working.
Talk about a lucky guy. I was lucky. Seriously. Fuck, you better bring your game. I'm sorry about my language. Excuse me, everybody.
That's okay.
You said Kim Zimmer, so I started swearing.
Make mama proud.
Yeah, make mama proud. You got to bring your game, man. I mean, I came from a show before where it moved so slowly because of how people demanded they were to be treated. You know what I mean? The show moved slowly. The work moved slowly. The work was affected because of it. The work, in my humble opinion, sometimes for me, my work, it lacked that animalistic kind of quality, that vitality of life that Guiding Light had. Guiding Light, when we were shooting those scenes, sometimes we had like 15 minutes to knock it out, you know, and cars are driving by and there's shit happening, and it's a cold day and you have to deal with the elements, and it brings that life, that vitality of life. And Kim, the number one down to the number whatever, everybody ran in, did their shit, showed up 100% ready to go, brought so much passion and love to it. And then sometimes the passion and love was about the other things that were happening, like the things that you're losing, you know, like we're losing the studio space. That's devastating, because everybody knows that's one nail in the coffin. That's a devastating feeling. And you don't want to talk about it, right? It's like that it's like that thing in the big, what's the expression, the pink elephant that nobody wants to talk about. Yeah. And these people
the black cloud is hanging over us. Yeah,
the black hole is about to suck us into it. And it could have been that, but they didn't let it be that. They brought a lot of passion and love for it still. Yeah, and I mean, those guys to play their son, it's a dream job. It's a dream job.
I love what Corey just said. He said Jeff seemed like a combination of what Reva and Josh's son would be. And I completely agree. You got to work. Accepted. You got to work with the other son a little when he returned. What was that like working with Tommy P?
He was a friend of mine before we even worked together, and that's a dream. You know, I've always held Tom as an actor, not just as a friend, but as an actor in the highest regard. Tom's shit's transcending. Tom brings a humanity to his roles that's it's rare, and it's not really paralleled a lot. You know what I mean? Like, he brings an intense reality and a humanity to the dark roles. He shows you the why. Tom's showing you the why. He's not showing you the isolation, the depression. He's showing you why the person is that way. And you can't help but have so much heart when you're watching him. And he's another person that made me a better actor. Being around Tom makes you a better actor, because you can't phone it in. You can't fake it. I mean, he'll look right at you. He will look in between him and Kim. Holy shit. In all honesty, I did have one day when I maybe had too much wine the night before. Okay. And I came in a little rusty on my lines. You know, it's one of those days where you're like, oh, I'm fine. I'll be fine. Yeah, let's have another bottle of, you know, and honey, we're good. It's a light day. It wasn't fucking a light day. I messed up so bad. I misread it. I wanted to misread it in my head, probably. Anyway, I was heavy that day. I was super heavy. And I remember Tom, you know Tom's laugh, right? That laugh is just infectious. If I could steal and take anyone's laugh for myself, I would take Tom Pelfrey's laugh. And a true story. His laugh makes me feel loved. You know, it makes me feel warm. And he looks at me and he looks in my eyes and goes, oh, I'm not going to try to do his laugh, but he laughed out loud. He goes, oh no, mom's not going to like it. And I was like, oh shit. And I was in the kitchen. I was like, oh my God, she's not. I was looking around for Kim. I was like, I'm so screwed. Mom's going to hate this. I was so worried, and I barely got through the day. But yeah, it was
and he
around
would,
those guys.
He would know. He would know.
He would have known. He used to know.
He would have known. Yeah. Wow.
No, he would have known. We might have been together, but I mean, it was different times.
Different times.
Maybe
we've all been there.
Maybe somebody decided to go home earlier than the other guy. You know how it goes.
I definitely do.
I blame New York's very late last calls. That's what I blame.
Oh, they really do. They really do. Talk about your leading ladies while you were there, Gina and Mandy, getting to work with.
Mandy was in such a great place when I was there, because her life was evolving very quickly into an amazing thing. And I'd never kept up with them, but her energy was just incredible. She was incredible, and she wanted to tell that story. She was excited for that story. And Gina, I felt the same from Gina. Gina was so Gina grounded me. Gina knew who that character was 100% already, but obviously, right? I mean, obviously she'd been working it out for years, but it's just the kind of depth and reality she brings to it. She's very grounded actor. And I think I was like, in the beginning, I was like playing like little brooding, but then relationshipy, but I found Jeff talking to Gina is what I found. And it's rare that you kind of get that kind of comfort with somebody, that you can just be. And that's what the camera wants to see. The camera just wants to see you be, right? It doesn't want to see you act. Acting looks like shit on camera. It just wants to see you be. And you got to find, if you have a good castmate that you feel that trust and that warmth with, you can just be. And that's the best stuff.
I love that. You received a Daytime Emmy nomination for each role that you've played, and one for Shayne on Guiding Light.
I have.
How does it? Yeah,
I don't know if I thought about that till now.
That's pretty cool. I mean, how does that feel?
I was like, no, I was about to argue with you. I guess it's very cool. I feel like it just got dropped on me. No, it's honestly the one that hit me the hardest was the first one, because it just felt so. It was like I entered into the big boy into the grown-up world. I walked into the grown-up world with that one, and I didn't really feel deserving to be there at all. I didn't know how it all worked yet, so to say.
And that you made the right choice. The decision to move to the Big Apple.
Oh yeah. But Guiding Light, I think I might have been the last actor to ever win an Emmy for Guiding Light. I
mean, probably.
No, somebody was telling me this. Well, I was at an event not long ago. Somebody said that I'm in that group. I'm like in that last group of people to ever represent that show.
It was 2009, so that's for sure.
Oh yeah, no, it was done. I actually moved because the Emmys were in LA that year. I actually was moving. I had moved out here already by then.
Well,
so Guiding Light was done.
I have a great memory. I was talking with my husband the other night about you because I had a flashback.
Is this something we can say on the air?
Yeah. I was with you backstage when you won, and he and Jamie were sitting near each other, and I was calling up to him to get Jamie to come down to you. Right.
You called her down. You're the whole reason she came. Oh my God, she loves you to death. I mean, I forgot about that moment, but now that makes sense. My wife's like, I love Alan.
She was sitting up. Yeah, they were sitting near each other, and when you won. What do you remember about hearing your name that night?
I didn't hear it. I didn't hear my name. They were still cheering for Vincent. I feel like I don't know what happened
because it was the two of you. It was a tie, right?
It was a tie, yeah. And after I blacked out somewhere during Vincent Irizarry's speech. Yeah, I mean, no offense to Vincent. Yeah. It wasn't nothing to do with his speech. It was just like the adrenaline was way too high. You know what I mean? Like, and then the adrenaline had to sustain because I was waiting, and somebody shoved me. Who was it? Somebody actually told me like, "Hey, they just called your name." I'm not kidding. Who was it?
Yeah.
And I don't recall it enough, to be honest, because I was so amped up. But I mean,
I have a picture of you with the guy from the Cash Cab. I don't remember his name.
I love him.
I know you did. That's why you had me take.
I know, right? I was like, oh no. I remember the most is I got backstage because that shit happened so fast. The speech, everything. I felt like I talked forever. I felt like I didn't do everything I wanted to do. It's just pure emotion. It's like an emotional blackout almost. For me, it was. I mean, it's just a lot, right? And it's a lot of stimulation at one moment. And then I walked backstage. I had this heavy statue in my hand and trying to just put it all together. And here comes Tom Pelphrey with that laugh. Yeah! I mean, arms were just wide out. That man gave me the biggest hug, cracked my upper back so well. You know what I mean? Like, it just like hugged me. And I remember that moment more than I do anything from that night.
I love it. Love it.
Yeah.
talk about your experience in Genoa City playing Trisha Cast's son, Ronan.
I had a great time there. Very, a very rich cast. A lot of stories, a lot of strong actors. You know, it felt very Guiding Light in that way. There's a lot of strong actors on Guiding Light.
Well, your dad's there now, Robert Newman.
I know. That's great. I'd love that he's there. I hope I get to come back as Ronan Malloy and get him into some trouble. That would be awesome.
Fans were just asking, now that Nina's back, they were hoping you would return. So
I would return.
Great.
Yeah. If they called, I would return. Yes. If they called, because I don't even know who's running the show currently, but if they called, yes, I would return. Yeah.
And we're
I had a great time there.
Were John Driscoll and Emmy Ryland there during your time as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't realize that.
I played John's brother. John and I were brothers on it. Yeah,
That's
Chance
fantastic.
and Ronan are brothers, half brothers, I think, right? I can't keep up, but yeah, John and I worked like intimately together on YNR.
And he is serving
Trisha's
our
amazing.
country. He is serving our country right now.
He is.
He's
he has
overseas.
transitioned. He's transitioned into something. The man should write an autobiography, right? He should, because to have the career and the path he was having, and then to have something more important than that to you, to put your selfishness out of the way to serve. I mean, he would talk about it all the time when we were working together, and you don't know how serious someone is and what's really calling at them sometimes, right? And it was really a calling for him, you know. And I think that I'm assuming here, I saw him a few years ago, and I think that John's like super fulfilled right now, and I love that for him.
He's married. He's got I will say, I think a little boy. I think a boy, but I'm not.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah. I interrupted you as you were going to please talk about Trisha Cast.
I would listen. If I would come back to Genoa City, I would play that woman's son any day of the week. She was a doll. She is a great actress. She has so much warmth and love. She would. We had a good thing going. You know, she was breaking Ronan out of his shell. We were starting to really form a lot of familial bonds again, because it's been a long time since Trisha had came back around. You know what I mean? And I think that I know that shows need to grow, storylines need to be added, things have to evolve. But I also like knowing that the old characters still come back every now and then. I like the family tree stuff. I really do. You know,
it's why we tune into these shows for family.
Exactly. I've met thousands, tens of thousands of fans in my years in other countries. We're family for people, you know, and that's a responsibility I love. I take it on. We're family for people. We're in their house more. They actually might watch us more than they spend time with some of their family. You know,
100%. 100%. Yeah.
We're more fun than a lot of their family. No, I'm joking.
That's for sure, and it's an escape. Eden Regal, Elizabeth Hendrickson, Michelle Stafford. Yeah. Not bad. Not bad.
You're gonna make me blush. Stop it. No, not bad at all. My God, where do you even begin? Eden Regal and Lizzie were. That was another like big transitional moment in my career, because they had a partnership on TV, and then my character breaks that partnership up, and there was not any representation for LGBTQ community at that time on television. Yeah. Eden Regal coming out as a queer character was huge. Huge. They were on the cover of like big, large circulating magazines. I forget which ones, but that's big, and it was important. And portrayal of it was very important. Something I think Eden Regal did beautifully. And then here comes me. Here comes this guy. And this guy, it was terrible. I raped Elizabeth Hendrickson's character, I believe, and then told her how it's her fault and broke up the pair. I mean, I had hate mail from every queer woman in America, I think, really. And I don't blame them. They sent me death threats to the studio got involved. The studio had me in and said, listen, There's going to be on Thursday, there's going to be a group of activists outside the studio. And I'm like, I'm not trying to make light of this at all, but I was like in a different headspace. I'm like trying to, you don't realize, I was young and I didn't realize the power and the potency of me and my stories and my words and my actions. And I was in that bubble still of my own privilege. And I didn't snap out of it until I realized, oh my God, that hurt people's lives. Like, and I'm okay with that. That was the story. That was the job. That was the story.
Right.
But when I saw how much it meant to that community, Eden and Lizzie actually helped me out and had me at one of their events. And I thought they were going to throw shit at me. And I don't blame them. There was so much hate in the room for me because it wasn't about, oh, I don't like him as an actor. It wasn't about that trite shit. It was about, that was our representation, and that was huge. Lizzie and thank goodness, Lizzie and Eden took me to that event because I got to meet a lot of that community and actually really get to know them. And they got to know me, more importantly. And they realized that the guy and the actor are two different people, right? The Jonathan Lavery and Jeff are two different people. But that was a huge thing for me. I mean, it was huge, a huge moment in my career.
And you must have noticed it at Guiding Light with Jessica Lucia and Crystal Chappelle.
Yeah,
the love the fans had for those two. Same.
Crystal brought up to me, she was like, that storyline that you were part of paved the way for stuff that happens here. I mean, Crystal and I have been friends for years, and she was very complimentary. And I think she saw the need and the importance of telling those stories. You know what I mean? I think she saw, I don't want to say that it's a market because that just sounds belittling, but she saw that there was a need, a big need for people to be representation, right?
Representation, 100%.
Yes, absolutely.
And then having the opportunity many years later to work with them again at Young and the Restless.
I know. Lizzie and I go way back. I mean, Lizzie and I have been friends since, I don't even know when, 2004 maybe, a long time. Uh-huh. And then, I ended my time on Daytime with Michelle Stafford, who was just, I mean, my God, I have had so much fortune, in my partners. She's just a powerhouse. I felt like I was going to, and I mean this respectfully, I felt like I was going to get eaten alive some days. Like she's got so much raw energy that she's ready to focus, and she's powerful. And it was intimidating. It was intimidating, and it was like another moment. Okay, rise to the occasion. Step up. You got to step up. And she made me a better actor too. She did, very much.
I bet. Well, before I let you go, I have to ask, what was it like portraying Neil Armstrong?
Oh man, daunting. Daunting. Got stuck in a lot of ideas. It's big to play someone big, Yeah. But thankfully, one thing that happened during that is the client is Apple TV, right? Mm-hmm. In my world, in our world, the client's Apple TV. So Apple TV didn't want to see Jeff do a bunch of acting. They wanted to see Jeff push a bunch of buttons. They wanted to see the technical aspect of going to the moon. They wanted to hear the jargon. They wanted to hear the commands called. They wanted to see some of the technical side of it. And that was great for me because then I could just go into another zone and just start really working with the people from NASA whom they had on set with us to really lock in what exactly, when you're in the spaceship, what this does, what that does. And then it was like the biggest obstacle after that was getting over the claustrophobia,
Oh, was it? Yeah.
Oh boy. You would have to back the truck up to get me back in a spacesuit. Okay.
Really?
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, I can't.
My hat's off to Joel, man. He's done what? He's done. Obviously, he did this series, and then he did RoboCop, I think, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, Joel Kinnaman. Sorry, Joel Kinnaman.
Yeah.
And then so I was looking at him when we were sitting there in the downtime, and I was like, "So, suit sucks, huh?" He was just like, "No, it's good. You know, and he was right back to his stuff. And I'm sitting over there dying because I realized I'm claustrophobic, and I didn't realize how much. And I didn't realize how impeding and really difficult those suits were. A lot of their training was to get used to navigating and being comfortable with and operating in the suits, because the suits were that cumbersome. So,
and weightless, right? And being weightless.
yeah, but here on lowly old planet Earth, we weren't weightless. So
Yeah.
we had to, I mean, we had oxygen rigged up. There was an afternoon where my oxygen tank got backed over by a truck in the lot. And I couldn't figure out why everything was just so funny. Everything was just so funny because I was blacking out. I think it was, and I'm not saying the production handled it beautifully. It's dealing with all of the juggling of having the suit on, recreating a weightless environment, right? It's all the I guess the magic of Hollywood. You know, we had a lot of shit to do recreating these scenes, and the suits weighed so much. So yeah, it was daunting. It was daunting, but I had a blast. It's one of those moments when so they put you inside of the lunar module, right? And I think they had just used the same lunar module for Ryan Gosling's Apollo that he did. So we're in the lunar module, and they have a scrim, like a CG screen in front of me, and it looks like it's as big as half a football field, right? It's huge. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, we're in the suits, the helmet's on, everything fires up, the whole panel. And in front of me, the moon lights up on the screen. And it's immersive. It's a completely immersive experience. And I sat there and had those goosebump feelings I had when I was 18 years old in that room. You remember that room I told you about, that rehearsal room? I had the same goosebump feeling sitting there going, oh shit, this is why I do this. This is why, right here. You know, so it was good. It was at the end of the day,
amazing.
It was beautiful.
And are you headed to Marco Island for a fan event Memorial Day weekend?
I am. I'm going to head it up again. I'm going to host the Soapfest 2.0. Yes, Pat Berry was kind enough to pass the event on to Paul and Keith, two new organizers. We're going to be doing the event over Memorial Weekend again down in Marco Island, Southwest Florida. Everything goes to charity. The actors are not paid. I do too, because a lot of the times people show up for the checks, and I get that.
Yeah, of course.
It's really different when people don't show up for the checks. The tone's different, the vibe's different, expectations are different. So it's a beautiful weekend. I'm
sure everyone's going to be
a lot of time.
Everyone's going to be excited to be in person again. Finally,
I know. I think that's what, and it's got a great crew. Guys, go on. I don't have all the information because I'm not good like that, but you can find it online. You should check out the lineup. It's got a lot of great people.
Yeah, I saw the lineup was great. Jeff, my friend, smile. I'm going to take a quick picture. 1, 2, and 3. It is so good to see you.
So good to see you. And
say
guys,
hello to
everybody
your
watching, hey, I will. They love you to death. I mean, Van hasn't met you yet, but he'll love you too.
You enjoy your shoot, and I hope you get to see Kim down there. Try to hook up with Kim.
I'm serious. Zimmer, if I have time, I'm coming to see you. All right, I am.
Good.
I'll let you know. Guys, everybody out there, thank you for all your love and support. All right, I hope to see you guys soon. All right. Alan,
have a good one.
You too.
Always. Bye-bye.
All right.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you to Jeff Branson for joining us today. Join me Friday afternoon when Tony Award winner Tanya Pinkins joins me live. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel down below. Turn on the notifications for reminders of all upcoming shows. And I will see you on Friday, everybody. Have a great afternoon.